Whether it's your first year on the job or you have decades of experience in healthcare, it's essential to protect yourself from legal action that could occur as a result of your work. Like car or travel insurance, medical malpractice insurance is something you hope to never use. But if you find yourself in an unfortunate situation, you'll be glad to have the protection of a policy. CM&F Group has been serving the medical malpractice needs of professionals for over 100 years. We cover over 200 healthcare professions that include, but are not limited to, nurse practitioners, physician assistants, home health aides, physical therapists, acupuncturists, nurses, doulas, behavioral therapists, and mental health professionals, clinical researchers, cosmetic nurses, and more. Understanding what medical malpractice is will help you appreciate its significance. Medical malpractice is injury caused by neglect or failure to act by a healthcare professional. While negligence imposes personal liability on you as an individual, medical malpractice implies professional liability. There are several standards of care factors to consider when determining if a medical malpractice event has occurred. What would other professionals have done in the same situation? Have standards changed over time? Were there written texts, procedures, and protocols to follow? What was the opinion of another medical expert? All of those factors and more are defined case by case through litigation. In a medical malpractice case, if you are not insured, you are personally liable. That means you must pay damages by settlement or verdict. You as an individual and your employer are both liable. Personal and business assets could be taken to satisfy the liability. The goal of liability insurance and the mission of CM&F Group is simple. We aim to transfer risk away from you and put the risk on your insurance company so you can focus on your patients and doing what you do best. You as an individual get to call the shots when it comes to selecting a personal professional liability insurance plan. There are two kinds of insurance. Occurrence form is one. It provides a lifetime of coverage for incidents that occurred during a policy period. It includes level premiums over time. It has no extended reporting period, or tail, that's required. And there's a claims made form. It includes lower initial premiums that increase over time, requires a purchase of tail in order to have coverage after the policy is terminated, and it has costs that start low but can rise significantly over time. And while employers generally provide a level of malpractice insurance to their staff, it's highly recommended that you also get an individual policy in order to mind the gap of malpractice. If you find yourself in a potential malpractice lawsuit, the benefits of an individual policy can be nearly immeasurable. An individual policy with CM&F picks up where your employer's policy leaves off and works hard for you in order to defend your best interests rather than your employer's best interest. It provides defense of HIPAA investigation. It covers full-time, part-time moonlighting and per diem. It covers telemedicine. It has Good Samaritan coverage. Having an individual policy puts you in control with the confidence to provide the best care, regardless of whether you change employers, pick up some work on the side, work part-time, or work per diem. That's because our portable, flexible coverage options go wherever you go. They provide undiluted protection and help you avoid conflict of interest with your employer. There are a few important factors to consider when evaluating which policy and provider is best for you. The insurer rating, we recommend the carriers with a minimum A rating. Occurrence or claims made, an occurrence policy is typically recommended. Consent to settle, you should be able to decide whether to settle versus go to trial. Your policy should include defense costs in addition to indemnity. Your coverage should defend your license and your assets. Awareness of your employer's medical malpractice insurance coverage can also be a big help when figuring out which individual policy makes the most sense for you. Be sure to ask your employer for a copy of the policy and certificate of insurance. Also, find out who pays for tail, if they have a claims-made policy, and check on their insurer's rating. Choosing to work in healthcare is choosing a life of purpose and service to others. While taking care of people is incredibly rewarding, it can also be challenging and at times daunting. Let CM&F Group take care of you by limiting your personal liability in the unforeseeable occurrence of a medical malpractice incident. To learn more, check us out at cmfgroup.com.